Hello, everyone. This is Michael Mirdad here, and we're doing our program. We do this every Friday. It's called Spiritual Insights. Friday night Spiritual Insights with Michael Mirdad. Today, we're going to talk about, I guess for a fancy title, we could call it Timeless Forgiveness versus Time of Judgment. And by time of judgment, I don't mean judgment time. I mean the judgment of time, how time comes as a result of judgment, feeling stressed about time. So let me take a minute and explain all that. It's actually kind of interesting because in God, there's timelessness. There's just being. There's no measurement of time or anything like that. So that's what, in a sense, timeless forgiveness means. Forgiveness brings us back to timelessness or God. On the other hand, we have time. Time is the result of judgment. So time, separation, limits, whether it's aging limits or whether it's mortality or any other form of limit, it's all the world of measurement, that things take time. Time, whether it's karmic or whether time is just a linear concept, yet in God there's no linear. So everything about time is really about separation and sort of mortality. It's our limited universe. So but there's some funny things about this, in my opinion. People who think that they're more advanced, because they're supposedly living in the moment and they do things whenever they want to, it's like they're actually lying to themselves. Now, this is sometimes I get a little silly and playful about these things. Irreverent is what we sometimes call it. But guys, that's just, it's just lying to ourselves. Oh man, I don't show up on time. I don't do anything on time because I'm just in the moment. It's just passive aggressive behavior. So people are just caught up in this world. They're just as caught up when they avoid doing things on time as when they're obsessive about doing things on time. So you can be really strict about your time and it shows that you're caught up in the world of separation. But you can also be avoidant of doing things on time, just as messed up. One thinks the other's messed up, but they're both messed up if you think about it. So being obsessive about time, it just confirms that you live in a world of tension. Maybe you could call it obsessiveness, fear, even aggression. But it's all the same, really. But there's a tension. I must be on time. What does that mean? Why? Because it proves that I'm not, and fill in the blank, that I'm not lazy, that I'm not, that I error prone. It proves that I'm serious. It proves that I'm tense and obsessive. I mean, so it's a sad thing, that people get caught up in all this. So, we end up having basically an aggressive lifestyle when we're tense and have to be on time. We have not a passive, in the healthy sense, lifestyle when we do the opposite. We have a passive aggressive lifestyle. But it's very tense, it's very aggressive, got to be on time, which means I'm really strictly judging myself. So I'm going to drive fast and cut people off and so on and so on. But the other person, I'm just going to keep all the cars behind me in a line because it's a single lane highway, and I'm just going to ignore them, and because I'm just so mellow. I'm so spiritual. What you're really doing is flipping everybody off, saying, I'm not going to follow any rules, not God's, not mankind's, not rules of politeness, just because I'm all that matters. It's clearly passive aggressive, but it's sort of a narcissistic tendency. So the bottom line is that it's nearly impossible to avoid time when you're in this world. I mean, this is a world of time. The planet we're living on has an age, right? And the whole universe seemed to have an age. So time is a major rule here. Time, space, continuums, and this is the rules of this place. So it doesn't do us any good to try to pretend that that doesn't exist, but spirituality is not so much trying to be measured on appearing like time doesn't matter or it doesn't control us. But it's really, spirituality is measured more about being guided by God, not fighting time, but allowing God. So believe it or not, God, when we're guided, not by time, but by God, you still live in time, but you're guided to use time differently. When you're guided by God, you'll still show up on time. You're going to be guided when to be somewhere, when to leave. Well, why am I being guided to leave an hour early? Because you didn't know there was traffic, So it's kind of, I think it's kind of beautiful if you think about it. God will help you to meet your deadlines. People who tend to be late, they're trying to control their environment, or people obsessively being on time, trying to control their environment. Why? Because it confirms that you feel like your environment is out of control. Your life is out of control. That's what this is about. Being obsessive on time or avoidant on time, about time, it just confirms that you feel your life is chaotic and you're trying to control it by being on time or by not. Even not being on time is a control trip. Yeah, I know that's hard for some people to hear or believe, but it's true. Your boss might be aggressive and insist that everyone be on time at work. Well, man, they're so aggressive and they're so controlling. But being late to work is also a control trip. Being late to meetings is keeping people on the hook. It's a control trip. It hooks people into being in suspended animation for your highness's arrival. And, it's not a loving gesture. The whole concept of you have to be fashionably late. Why? Because it looks a certain way. So that there's enough people there for your arrival. I mean, that's what this is all about. Time is misused because time was created by separation and creation of the ego. Its solution is forgiveness, which brings us not out of time yet, but for now it puts us in a state of timelessness where we will end up on time, but with a greater sense of ease, a greater sense of peace about it. It's really the mindset that determines where we're at. Not being on time, not being on time, but the mindset of whichever one you do. It's the spirit with which you do it. So, that's how that goes. So, if you're trying to fight time, you're just going to wear yourself down. You will. I mean, that's what happens. I don't think there's anything wrong about relaxing on let's say, the effects of time. Some people, they'll dye their hair, they touch up their face, whatever. There's nothing wrong, but why doing it? I don't want anybody to know I'm imperfect versus this feels nice. There's a spirit with which we do these things. So I don't think there's a problem suspending time or whatever, however you want to call it. But fighting time is just exhausting. Try to fight time, it's exhausting because it confirms that you believe you have something to fight, which is time, and therefore time exists, which means it's going to wear you down and your body down sooner. So being afraid of time isn't going to help anybody. Okay. Again, there's nothing wrong with touching up and so on, but it's the spirit with which we do it. There are individuals and even cultures and regions where people are like, oh, time. Yeah, well, we have Sedona time. They call it native time, some parts of the Southwest. They call it island time, whatever. All of those are my time. I'll do this when I feel like it. All it is passive aggressive. I don't care what culture wants to use it as an excuse, but it's bogus, Could you imagine Moses trying to lead the Israelites to life, a new life and safety, going, well, let's just do this on Israelite time or desert time. No, he hears the voice of God, you go. That's the way it works, man. Not obsessively, but you go. A great guide lives in the now, and now usually means I'll do things now, not obsessively now, but I'll do things now when I feel called to do them. Right, it's a right consciousness, a guidance from God. Not when I get around to it, not when I feel like it, but more like when I feel the call. Now that too can get all twisted. Well, I don't feel the call to do my bookkeeping yet, and you're like 4 years behind. Bogus. You're trying to avoid something. And people do that. They want to use God in that whole scenario. Like, well, I'm waiting for God to get, and it's not God at all. It's just your own ego wanting to avoid things, So, just more games. Truth is, when you're in touch with God, you're going to generally meet deadlines. You're going to generally be on time, but without the anxiety of driving twice as fast to get somewhere on time. It's like, it's just kind of cool. Like, well, yeah. I mean, God, nature prunes its trees on time, by bringing the winds and so forth. And nature brings the cool months at the right time. Nature doesn't usually say, oh, I didn't get around to winter, and God, now it's July. We'll just do winter now. And, yeah, it'll kind of screw up the crops and people will starve. But hey, I guess they got to get over it. No, that's not nature. That's not the Mother Earth. And that's just a small reflection of the beauty of the Divine Mother universally or spiritually. So, the excuses, or they're just not worth anything, not to masters. So, it's like having an internal clock that organically reminds you, oh, I think it's time to do such and such. Generally, following spirit gets things done on time without procrastinating. It's just kind of, wow, cool. Procrastination is a form of self-destructiveness. It really is. I'm not saying to never say, I think I'll do that tomorrow, if that's truly what you need to do for your sanity, for your health, or whatever. There's nothing wrong with occasionally setting things to a different time. That's procrastination means you tend to avoid, whether it's constantly or any one thing that you're purposefully trying to escape from, then it's not a healthy thing to put it off because you're trying to escape something, which means it involves fear and anxiety, which isn't the will of God. So, be a master, God, goddess, step up and say, come on, really? Why would I be afraid of? And I know we all have that, bits of that here and there, but we just have to make it more of a habit to step up and get things done. But it's self-destructive to procrastinate. It really is. Think about it. Basically, I'm going to put things off. So now I'll just chill because I'm really a chill person. No, you're not. You're putting things off. And then the things you put off, they're all building up. They're all log jamming or bottlenecking, and it's all going to have an effect later. Imagine, again, Earth, I use the example of seasons. Imagine if your body, I think we'll wait, I'm just not in the mood to digest. And it keeps doing that, procrastinating your digestion. You would be dead in short time. I think we'll put off assimilating nutrients from the food. Oh, food's gone already. Well, we're on island time. Oh, humans, man, just nutty behavior, all trying to excuse it as some cool thing. Just see through it. I don't mean to jump on people about it or jump on yourself. Just see it. If we're going to be masters before we become gods, goddesses, before we're one with God again, it's in that chronology. You're just a screwed up human being until you know how to put things like this in order and call them for what they are. Then you become a master, which becomes a god, goddess. And I'm not trying to promote some weird thing. I mean, the Bible tells you, ye are gods and goddesses. So here we are, guys. But before you become that, it doesn't mean your screwed up self is a god, goddess. Clearly not. You got to act like one. And gods and goddesses don't procrastinate. It doesn't make sense because procrastination is fear-based and gods and goddesses wouldn't be fear-based. They would be inspired-based. I mean, just think about it. It makes total sense. So it's nice to stay in a great level of connectedness. When we procrastinate, it's just clear that we're slipping into a state of unconsciousness. We're slipping into a state of basically ourselves being out of control and then our lives being out of control. So really what that comes back to is if I procrastinate, if I put things off, if I keep you on the hook, it means I'm judging you. I know it sounds weird. Time comes from judgment. So because I judge you as being less important than me, you don't matter, and therefore I don't need to be on time for my meeting with you. Or flip side, I judge myself as inadequate, so I make sure I'm on time obsessively. You see, judgment is what makes us swing into obsessive, experiences with time, or ultra passive aggressive experiences with time. It's judgment on you or on me. It's still judgment. So time has already in advance screwed up what we're going to experience today based on time. It's going to make us late. It's going to make us obsessed. And so on and so on. People don't generally hire people that say, I'm on time because I'm plugged in. They're going to be, what do you mean? They want you to be watching your watch. They want you to, are you a responsible person? You always look perfect and presentable, and they're going to wear you down with the stress level. You won't be able to handle that, but they don't mind because you'll crash like the boss did, and die of old age at 40, and they'll just get somebody else. Corporations that just drain the life out of people. When we're plugged in, we know our soul's purpose. We stay in that direction. We know what soulmate relations, plural, looks like, and we go in that direction. But you get things done, like, wow, you're a master. You can get 10 things done in the time of somebody else doing one because you're guided on how to do it. I mean, that's how practical spirituality can be, where you get more done. It's not like, oh, wait, I'm spiritual now. They're just lying to themselves. The slower you move, it proves you're in the moment. Wow, isn't that cool? No, that's you just on Quaaludes, or you're stoned, or you're whatever, It doesn't prove something. Show me that you're so plugged in, you get things done righteously, right consciously, you see, right consciousness, on time, well done, effective, helpful to people. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, it's stay away from the judgments on ourselves and others, and things will change. Practicing forgiveness, instead of judgment on ourselves, is like living in a state of connectedness with God. It's like having a organic, like I said, an organic internal clock. And it's like, wow, something happens and time to walk the dog. It's like being, in a sense, really good as a psychic, except it's now is the time I need to walk the dog. What was that about? You run into just the right person for the right conversation. Oh, time to fill the bird feeders. Oh, time to pick up the kids at school. Oh, I want to tell you I love you. Time to tell you I love you. Oh, trim roses, prepare dinner. Just like, wow. And yet on your way to the kitchen to prepare your dinner, you notice a plant doesn't have water in it. So you put your food on, and before you forget, you get the water, put that in while the food's cooking. You're watering your plant. I love the plant. I want it to thrive. Giving it some water. See, it's just beautiful. Just a beautiful exchange. It's this beautiful efficiency. So, believe it or not, being in the now, to me, makes life more efficient, but just not in that tense form of human efficiency. It's more like, well, there's no log jams. Because nobody wants to go there. I don't want to know what I haven't done today, which is the procrastination addiction, because I just know it's lots of stuff, which is my stuff. my judgments on myself or others have backed up as a logjam of jobs or chores or tasks or whatever that I need to do that I don't want to do. I don't want to do them because I judge them or judge you or judge myself as weak, as being controlled by the world. So I have to prove something that I'm not controlled by not doing anything. I want to get my life back. I want to prove that, I to myself that, I deserve something, but you're not. When you're fighting to prove that you deserve some peace and quiet time, but you're not getting things done, you're actually destroying your tomorrow. No, I just needed quiet today. Right. And today now became tomorrow. The jobs that didn't get done today are there tomorrow. Is that a problem? No. With God, I need a break today is fine. God will find a way to help you enter tomorrow and dismantle things. It'll help you find an efficient way to knock off several things in one at a time or in a cluster, because it'll be efficient. You'll be guided on how to deal with that, just like any other miracle that you have. But if you keep drinking acid in your system and Drano and it ruins your insides, how could you be shocked by that? Well, God's going to help me again and again and again and again. You can't keep destroying your life physically, emotionally, mentally, and keep saying, catch me while I fall. It's not how this works. You have to take responsibility. So if you create a logjam of stuff, the deadlines are still there. There's now more of them. So, I would just say, find a way to plug into miracle mindedness, miracle consciousness, plug into the presence of God and trust your deservability. It's okay. Let me get some things done today. And if you really think I have these limits on my health and self and so on, if you really feel that way, don't make lunch appointments then. Oh, but I have to because my friend will think I don't like him, but you didn't show up. Just be honest and, I'm not feeling well and I need some time. Don't make the appointments. Don't take the jobs. Don't take on the tasks or whatever it happens to be if you're not going to do them. Don't have a relationship if you can't remember to occasionally let people know you care about them. Let spirit guide you. It's so beautiful. Don't have kids if you can't care for them. Show up. Balanced. Love, practicality. Love, practicality. I love you, so I'll show up to be on time with you and for you. I love myself, so I'll take care and show up for myself too. I'll show up for my chiropractic appointment, my massage. I'll remember to book one. Whatever the case may be. Lots to do, but please remember this. Give yourself credit when you get them done. Don't, oh, God, I did so many things today. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. Oh my God, I probably need to sleep now for a week. Now my digestion probably won't work. That's, all just victim. I know it feels that way sometimes, that's how your day's going to go. But then don't schedule so much. Instead of going, I'm a 9 on attention scale, I'm a 9, that's a movie line, sorry. But instead of I'm a 9 on an accomplishment scale, on a you can count on me scale, just be a 3 today. Oh, that's bad. That's way low. And it is low. But if it's all you are, own it. Because if you own it and do well with it and give yourself credit, you become a 4 organically instead of pretending. If you're a 3 and you try to be a 9, I'm telling you, you're going to screw yourself up and screw a lot of people under. Your life's going to fall apart in different ways, and you're going to whine about it later. Oh, I was just such a good mother. I just did so much that now I collapsed. No, you didn't do for others. You were thinking you were doing for others, but in fact, you've destroyed yourself in some way or another, and that's not what love does. So if you really did something out of love, you wouldn't have burned yourself out or gone so far that way. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with us sometimes crashing and needing to sleep or nothing. I'm talking about this being our way of life is not healthy. Remember, forgiveness is timeless. It takes us into a state of timelessness. It suddenly makes it seem like I'm in this time warp where instead of getting one thing done, I got 20 things done. It's like, what? How did that happen? It's amazing. And I live like that a lot. I'm not boasting it. I'm just saying, I know it's that way. So all kinds of things done. Whoa, all in a bit of time. Whether I have people helping me or doing it myself, it's boom, 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 boom. Whoa, look at that. And I can still sit back, watch a favorite show or something. I can still answer my emails. I can still, I have a very busy life, but I feel good about accomplishing things. If you have a busy life or have several things you do, and all you do is take it as, oh my God, it's so much, so heavy, either cut back on it or be quiet. Do them and be quiet. If you're going to complain, you shouldn't be doing so much, but take care of yourself. But don't believe that you're a 3 forever. Don't judge yourself as being a weak person that can't do more. Just be weak for a moment and cry, feel, soak in a tub, whatever, and then come up to a 4. Give thanks for that. Come up to a 5. But the day will come where every one of us is immune to everything of this world. We live in constant timelessness. There's no limit to what we can do, how fast we can do it, and so on. We're all heading to be a 10. So if you want to be a 3, don't think that that's your fate, destiny, or whatever, your goal in life. It's to be comfortable with wherever you are and see if you can come out a little more. Because anything else is technically a reflection of judgments on yourself or others as being less than your true divine self. Thank you for listening. Peace to you all. God bless you, and hope you join us again in one program or another. All righty. Bye-bye.